What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Tell Me More podcast presented by Major League Success. I have Katie Antry Fleming with us with the Antry Isaacs team at Saxton Real Estate. Katie, thank you so much for coming on and joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited because I've gone through this little string of interviewing agents I've never met.
Okay.
And you and I don't think we've ever met. I don't know if we've ever connected. So
No, we haven't.
I'm
Yeah.
excited to kind of dive into your real estate journey. And where I always like to start off is growing up. What was kind of fill us in on kind of growing up. What was that like? Kind of up to your high school, college. Getting out of high school.
All right. So I grew up, my mom and dad were separated. So I had a single mom, kind of watched her work hard, 2, 3 jobs at a time. So she was always out there doing different things. But hard jobs, working at the post office, doing a lot of jobs where she was standing on her feet, just a lot of physical stuff. So that's kind of what I grew up seeing was her working hard. Grandparents stepped in to kind of help raise me and be there for me. I went to a Christian school when I was young, just strange now, but I went to a Christian school from 3rd to 8th grade. So I grew up in a really small, tight community. There was, I think, 18 of us in that class. And then I got thrown into a major public high school. So it was kind of a culture shock, you would say.
Yeah.
And so most people don't know it if they know me now, but I was a very, very shy person. I had my little group of friends, and outside of that, I was kind of nervous to go out. Still get that way sometimes, but I was very nervous then. And high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do, probably like most high schoolers. I passed high school. I did not try my hardest for sure. I did not push myself. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Just went there. So after that, I went to college. The plan was to go to nursing school. I did all the prerequisites, realized that I don't really like blood. I don't really like the smell of things. I didn't really like doing that. I just wanted to help people, but I didn't know how I wanted to help people. So while I was doing that, I worked at a hardware store, ironically. I was a manager at Sears Hardware, and I liked that role. I liked being a manager and helping people. So that was something I really enjoyed, but I just, when you're young, you don't know how to apply that to your future.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm curious. I went to 3 different schools while growing up,
Yeah.
and my wife went to a Lutheran school up until 8th grade, and I think she had like a class size of like 8.
Yeah.
Are you from the Columbus area or?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Grove City.
Okay.
Still live here now. Ironically, I have well, I'm sure we'll get there, but out of my kids, our oldest is now starting in the high school that I graduated from, which is a whole nother world of strange. But yeah, so born and raised here. But then, didn't end up graduating college because I
Yeah.
didn't know what I wanted to do. And I got a job at Medco Pharmacy, just through people I knew, connections, and just kind of took that job as a job, good benefits. You're out of school, you don't know what to do. So that's kind of my school situation.
Was college something that you wanted to do, or was it kind of like implied next steps?
I think it definitely implied next steps. No one in my immediate family, had ever gone to college. So I think for me, it was just, how do I get a job where I'm not working at a warehouse or, those jobs are great, but I always knew that I wanted to do something more. So I think for me, it was just kind of the next step. Looking back, looking back, I wish I would have known other options, but when you're young and dumb.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, for me, I have my own thoughts on college and
Yeah.
school in general and things like that. But, it's hard as a, 16 to 22-year-old to define exactly what the hell you want to do with your, life,
Yeah.
career wise. And that's partly why, I like having, successful agents come on here, because the reality is the majority of people that get into our business, it's not like they just jump in at 18, or they jump in like I did at right out of college and that's what they've done, for their whole career. Typically it's, it's different careers, and it led them to this point. And the whole goal of this is, if there's another agent out there that can relate to your story, and can see that it's possible, right?
Right.
Coming from, a single mom, household, and going to nursing school and figuring out that that's not for you, and then, you know not graduating, right? And that's okay too, right? Because now you got other options, and all those other things. Like, that's the whole point of this show, is to just show that it's possible, right?
Yeah.
And there's so many different paths and journeys that can get you to wherever you once were, to wherever you want to get to.
Yeah, and I think that has really pushed me, especially now having my own kids, to tell them there are traits, there are things. I never would have thought that I would make the money that I make now with not having a college degree and not even having any real life experience. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So after all of that, I don't know if you want me to elaborate more on that, but
Yeah, just walk me through that journey, because I
yeah,
always find when I'm talking to people, there's usually something that they learned, picked up on, whatever it was from, a previous career or a decision that has greatly impacted their life in real estate.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So I started working at Medco, and then got married, got pregnant, and my first daughter, I couldn't bear the thought of putting her in daycare. So I quit my job, became a stay-at-home mom. Had two girls, and I just thought, I can't do this. I am not cut out to be a stay-at-home mom. Kudos to all the stay-at-home moms out there. I went crazy. There was no adults.
oh my gosh.
It wasn't a good fit for me. We had just bought a house. It was a short sale. I remember the nightmare of going through a short sale. It took 9 months. I was pregnant. It was terrible. And at the time, my cousin sold real estate, and I just looked up to him. He just always seemed, he got up, he had a professional job. Something about it was just starting to kind of get me interested. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to take my real estate classes and just do it part-time. Let's see what happens.
What year was that?
So I started in 2010.
Okay, perfect.
So
Right,
the
right,
worst
the good
time
time.
ever. So I started at the worst time ever. And my first year I made $9,000, and I thought, why am I doing this? But I started to see the money, and I started to see the potential. And I thought, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm paying board fees and I'm paying a couple fees, but I'm making money. So I can still be home and I'm not missing things, but I can still go out and make money.
Yeah.
So I honestly, just like you said, I researched all of the top agents. Okay, what are they doing? How are they standing out? And how can I be like them and make it my own? And that's when I started getting creative. And it's funny, I tell new agents now, because I actually train agents now, and I tell them, it's funny because real estate is only a small part of actual real estate. Selling houses is just a teeny part of actually selling real estate. It is exactly what we're doing now. It's marketing. It's being creative. It's being you, because people don't want to hire the same person they've seen 90 times. They want someone that's doing something new and something different.
Yeah.
And then I had my third kid, a son, and that's when my career really started taking off. And it was great because the kids went with me, so they saw things and they could help with things, but I wasn't missing out on anything. And for me, that is really important.
Now, when you started out, did you just start out on your own?
Yep.
Did you start with your cousin? Did you start on a team?
My cousin trained me. I followed him around. I actually started in commercial real estate. I
Oh,
did
wow.
not like it. It wasn't my thing. I just felt kind of lost. And I've always liked homes. I've always liked decorating. So I started going on my own. And then a couple years later, I can't even remember what year now. Lacey and I actually went to high school together, and we didn't know each other, but someone told her to reach out to me. She was just getting her real estate license. And so I trained her, brought her in, and then we decided, you know what, we know all the same people. So instead of being competitors, why don't we help each other out and really, make it a team and start going from there.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Kind of dive in. You mentioned the first year you made about $9,000.
Yeah.
You know what? I got in 2011, so I know, exactly. It's one of those things. Like people are like, yeah, man, there's like 50 people in my class when I was going through classes, and I was like, well, there's maybe 10 to 15
Yeah.
in all in
Yeah.
mine. But kind of dive in. Can you walk us through some of those? Well, let me back up.
Okay.
You make the decision to kind of get into real estate part time.
Yep.
Based off of seeing someone in your family doing it, and you're just seeing kind of what's happening in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
When you made that decision, did you like real estate? Like, what was the reason why? Was it just because you saw them doing it?
So
Was there something more to it, or?
Yeah, I think that I always liked real estate. I don't think I realized how much I liked it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I just saw him being successful, saw him making his own schedule, and not that I didn't ever want to work for someone, but I didn't want to work for someone. I wanted to be successful on my own and see what I could do. And, looking up to people that did their own thing was always something I had done. So I wanted to see, I believe, what I was always capable of, see how far I could go without someone standing behind me 9 to 5 and making sure I clocked in. And I've always been a hard worker no matter where I was at. So for me, I think I like the challenge. I think I still like the challenge of real estate. I think I'm a pretty competitive person. So for me, it's fun to go out there. And if you tell me you're interviewing multiple agents, bring it. Like that's when I'm my best. Like, I'm ready and I want to bring my game. And it's not because of anyone else. It's just that drive inside of me to show, okay, I can do this. I can hang with the best of the best. So I think but I've always liked houses. Just doing those deals, and the first time you help someone that's a first time buyer or a family that's been looking forever and you finally get to help them, I think that became such a cool thing. Definitely made me want to keep going and doing it more and more.
No, that's awesome. And when you got in, I'm always curious, did you have a lot of supporters, a lot of doubters? Because you're going into really an unknown, right? There's no set hourly rate, salary, no paychecks coming. Did you have a lot of doubters? Did you have a lot of supporters?
I would say not necessarily doubters, but people that were kind of like, oh, that's cute, you're selling real estate. And I feel like, honestly, I still get that. People don't understand that, because I'm sure you know how it is. They don't see us work necessarily 9 to 5, that they don't understand. We're answering our phone on vacations and sports events, and we don't have a day off. So I think not necessarily doubters, but just a lot of people thinking, oh, that's cute. Or, as a mom, I think sometimes they don't take us as seriously, when the truth is, I'm out there hustling. I'm making 6 figures. I never thought that was possible. And I think they just don't see that. I don't.
Well, yeah, we got in, HGTV was just taking off, so you have what's glamorized on TV, and then you have what's glamorized and what people actually, show on social media, right? They only show the fun side, the good side, right?
Yes.
They don't show the struggles. And that's, and that's why I like to interview, successful people, because we all go through highs, we all go through lows, and there's times where there's struggles. So when you got in, not necessarily the doubters, but kind of watching like, oh, okay, yeah, she may make it, she may not, whatever. Outside of that first year, dive into those first couple years. Did you have a lot of struggles, ups and downs? Did after the year 1, did you get some success? Can you walk me through some of those beginning years?
Yeah, so I would say the first 2 years were really terrible. And that's just being honest. And I think that, again, is mostly because of the market. The market was terrible. I was brand new. I didn't know how to do it. my motto after that was, you know what, I'm going to fake it until I make it. And if I'm going to show up at listing appointments and act like I've done this for 20 years. And if they have questions, I'm going to get the answer. I'm not going to say I don't know. I'm not. So after the first 2 years, I started becoming more and more confident because I had heard no already. And it was like, what do I have to lose at this point? So that made me really more and more confident. And I think I started getting more support at that point. But it's still hard for people, again, that don't own a small business or don't work from home. It's just hard for people when they don't see, like you said, they're only seeing that fun side. They think, oh, okay, you guys are cute. You just show up and open the door and let people in. That's, like you said, that's not what we do. There's so much more. Yes, our job is fun. Yes, I want to trade it for anything in the world. But when there is terrible times, the market's slowed down now. That's changed, and we just constantly have to reinvent ourselves. Just like all marketing and branding, you're always changing. So after the first 3 years, I would say I really started doing pretty consistent business and doing well. The last 5 years or so have been awesome. Really, I build my business now on referrals. That's where I get pretty much everything from referrals, past clients. And I'm office manager as well now, so I help train agents too.
Okay, awesome. So in those first couple years to kind of get that momentum going, have you always been a self-starter? I mean, because getting into the business, like, look, I got in. The people that have listened to my story know, like, if I didn't have my mentor, my team lead, I wouldn't have made it into this business, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here. It's just
Right.
not who I am.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to go and figure it out. I needed someone to show me the way.
Yeah.
But then you have people like yourself. So it's like, hey, I'm going to go do it on my own. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to, make it work.
Yeah.
What were some of those things that you've kind of focused on, in those first couple of years to kind of get that momentum going? And did you have like a mentor? Did you have a coach? Did you, did you have someone there that was kind of helping you, at least guide you down the right path? Or are you just always a self-starter?
I would have never thought I would be a self-starter, but I think, in all honesty, what made me so motivated was having kids, because it was living paycheck to paycheck, and I didn't want to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. I didn't want to, sit around and worry if we could go do something. I wanted to start going on vacations and get the house that we wanted to live in. And so for me, that was motivation to build a business and have that second income. My office, I have always been at Saxton. They are a small company. I have had multiple big companies try and recruit me, and they are very family oriented. Our boss is great. He is 91 years old. He comes to work every single day. So if I had a mentor, I would say it's probably him. He has also helped me get into rentals. He's just a motivation of, hey, you know what? Maybe you can have it all, and you can be with your family, and you can build this business and leave a legacy behind ultimately, which is what we're trying to do. So
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think it was, a lot of agents struggle with the why,
yeah,
and your kids were your why, right?
yeah,
And that's the thing, like when you have the why and you know what your why is,
yeah.
that's what's going to get you through the down. It's not necessarily getting you through the high side; it's getting you through the downside,
Right.
right?
And
Um,
I think it's become even more important now as my kids have got older, because they're watching you. They're watching, okay, what happens when she goes to work, and what is she doing here and there? And, like we talked about, if they don't want to go to college necessarily, they might want to do a trade, or they might have something else that they want to do. So I think it's really important, especially now.
when did you start kind of making that pivot to really wanting to help other agents get into the business?
So it was probably, honestly, when Lacey came in. So probably, I don't know, maybe 7 years ago or so. It was really fun to have her. And again, I had been to other offices, talked to other agents. And the number one thing I kept hearing is, when we go somewhere, it's so competitive and people don't want to help us. They say they do, but then we get there and they don't. And for me, I just thought, you know what? There are so many people selling houses. Why why as agents do we have to tear each other down when I'm not going after the same people you're going after? So for me, I think that's when it all started. I liked sharing my experience, and I liked giving that what I didn't get when I started. And I think it's a good thing. Why not share your wisdom? It doesn't take away from you to help someone else out, I guess is how I have always thought of it.
Yeah. No, I love it. I mean, that's, I've always helped people just from our team, coming onto the team. And then, it really kind of expanded in about 4 or 5 years ago. And then now it's really my focus, because someone like yourself, right? You were someone that was always going to figure it out, right? You were going to make it happen.
Yeah.
Someone like myself, there's more, I believe there's more people that get into our business that are closer to me, and I think that our industry is broken in the sense of how we can bring someone in that's licensed, that just got licensed, and how to get them up and running.
Yeah.
To where, they need a lot more of that one-on-one type training. And I believe that everyone should have a coach, and I believe that everyone can be a peer to someone, right? If you're on the same path, go find someone that is, if you're selling 15 houses a year, go find someone that's selling 15 to 20 houses a year, right? You're on the same path, and you're going to be able to get, work together to get better. Obviously your coach or mentor is going to get you to that next hump.
Right.
And then I believe that you can always coach someone to get to where you're at.
I mean, that's the thing. We all needed help in the beginning. 100%. I still need help every day. But that's exactly what I said, as far as when I started, was looking up to people who is successful and what are they doing that makes. So it's the same kind of thing. And I remember going to some networking meetings even when I started, and there were some agents who are super welcoming and open. And then there were others who are, well, I've sold 100 million in a year, so I don't want to talk to you. And it's like, but I'm the one that needs to talk to you. I'm not stealing your business, but it would be great to learn, like, what are you doing? So I definitely think it's important. There's enough people out there that we can all just get along.
Yeah. Well, my aha moment when it really hit home to me was, I think it was about 4 years ago. I think it was like 2018. I want to say at the time we were right around 170, 160 to 200 transactions, somewhere in there.
Right.
And I was like, how many houses actually sold in 2011 when I got licensed? So I went back and I pulled those stats from the MLS. Luckily, they still went back that far. And in 2011, there's about 20,000 homes that sold.
Right.
And I was like, man, this is the most that our team has ever sold at the time. And we wouldn't even been 1% of the market,
right,
in our MLS back in a bad market. And from that moment on, I was like, well, I don't compete, like very rarely. There's times where, you might go on a listing appointment. They might interview 2 or 3 people, but very rarely are we, when you meet a buyer, typically they're not meeting with several agents to pick the right agent, right? Unfortunately, I think they all should be, but and very rarely when you go on a listing appointment, especially if you're SOI based, right, they're probably just going to choose you. You're just going out there to show them all of the marketing, the pricing, and who you are and how you operate. Exactly. And for me, it's just raising the bar. Everyone talks about raising the bar of the industry, but agents don't want to help agents. And I think there's a change now in our industry to where that's changing a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's awesome that, you're taking on that role and really want to help agents. So now, is it just you and Lacey building a team? Do you have agents underneath you?
So with just Lacey and I now, we had gone back and forth about, we had someone on our team before, gone back and forth about adding people. Another reason that Lacey and I made a team is between us, we have 9 kids. So we are really in that time of our lives where our kids are super busy. So for us right now where we are, it's good for the 2 of us. I think we have a hard time finding someone yet that we have wanted to just come in and be on that. But at our office, that's where I train everyone. So we have other agents at our office that I help out. And if someone comes along that fits, that we're like, hey, come join us, then definitely we're open to that. We're not there at this moment, just too much going on.
Yeah, no, I get it. And have you always been SOI based?
Yes.
As far as building your business?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome. No, that's awesome. So I want to kind of fast forward a little bit. What is something that you guys are looking to accomplish, in the next year, in the next 12 months?
I mean, at this rate, hopefully just staying the same with this crazy market. As you know, interest rates are a little bit crazy. Really just keep on building. So I started branching off in the last couple of years and buying rentals, doing stuff like that. So I think everyone I've ever looked up to was kind of diversified. They didn't just sell real estate, they had rentals, they had different things. So to me, that's important to really keep growing that. But I think just building our numbers and really getting back to basics as this market does change. I think remembering to stay in touch with clients from the past and reaching out to them is really important. And just building those relationships is a whole different thing.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. Getting back to the basics.
Yeah.
I was on a call with my coach a couple weeks ago, and there's an agent within his group that they coined it the summer of skill,
Yeah.
right? And back to when we got into the business, it was, home sitting for 4, 6 months,
Yeah.
and it was agents needed more skills, to go out and to present at a listing appointment,
Mhm.
and to show your value proposition to them, right? And how to communicate and, navigate certain waters, hey, you had a foreclosure or a short sale or, a bankruptcy and, but, getting back to the basics. And that's what I've learned. I try to do a lot of conferences and trainings and different things that I can pick up on. And I just got done with ninja selling about 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. And, through ninja selling, it is the basics.
Yeah.
Reaching out to your past clients, reaching out to your SOI, staying top of mind, providing them value,
Yep.
and eventually the business is going to come.
Well, and that's just it. And, paying for leads, all that stuff was great for a while. But at the end of the day, it's about your relationships and it's getting your name out there and just keeping that up, I think is the most important thing. We have so many part-time agents that we see right now, which is great. But I think we're going to see less and less of that as people realize this really is work. It's not just show up. And if you want to be successful, it's going to be more than just selling to your friend Bob. Like you got to go out there and actually work for it and want it. So I think we'll probably see less of that and more of the agents like you and I that have been around for a while. We already went through the crappy market, so we know how to make us stand out and really make it through that. And I think we'll all be fine.
Yeah, and I tell agents, getting into the business, if you believe in yourself and your own work ethic, then you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
But if you don't believe in yourself and you're lazy by nature, look, all humans are lazy. If we have the opportunity, we're all gonna, sit on the couch and watch TV. But but if you're not that motivated person, if you're not looking for the challenge, real estate's going to be hard for you.
Yeah, you're in the wrong business. I tell new agents that all the time because they all come in and say, okay, so how do I get clients? When am I getting leads? And it doesn't just work that way. None of us just got handed tons of clients when you first started. You got to work for it.
Yeah.
It's a totally different than a 9 to 5 job. You're not going to work and your boss is telling you what to do. You got to set your priorities and make lists every day and make yourself get up and do that work or you're not going to have a job.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna get one of the things that a lot of people in our business get. You're gonna have a ton of freedom, right? But you may not have the money, right? If you
Right.
don't have the work ethic, you're not gonna get the money. You're gonna have the freedom. You're not gonna have the money. But so what's something, Katie, that what's a big 5 year goal? Yeah, do you do
Oh
five,
man.
10 year goals?
So I always try. So I should get my $25 million award this year, which that was a huge one for me.
Nice.
Really, I just want to keep going. I would like to grow my business more. Like I said, my kids, my daughter will be graduating in 4 years. She has talked about going into business, so I would love to have the chance to shadow. I don't know that I necessarily have a lot of financial goals besides staying where I'm
Sure.
at or making some more, but mine is more kind of in the line with being an influence. I would like to start going to high schools or start going to different trade schools and talking about more of this and influencing people. And also just motivating even women. I think that's a huge thing. You know, I sat back and watched men my whole life being successful and making tons of money while the woman stayed home or she did, you know, a small job. And I think for me, that's a huge motivation and something I'd really like to start getting into is showing women, hey, you can do whatever you want to. And just because you have kids or you're doing other stuff, it doesn't mean you can't have a job and you can't have a career. So I think for me, that's a big thing in the next couple of years. I would somehow like to get in. Right now I'm on the board for the Chamber of Commerce in Grove City. So that's something that I've really got involved in too. And pushing Grove City is a huge deal to me. So kind of really motivating those people. Small business owners are a huge deal. And that's something I do at the Chamber is helping those small business owners out. So anything I can do with that, getting on those type of committees, pushing that stuff, I think is a really big goal for me. So.
No, that's awesome. I think about it a lot. It's legacy for me. It's impact. It's my mission's to kind of change the way that our failure rate is in our business for new people. That's my passion. So, I love that the influence. I think our industry is amazing.
Yeah.
I think we set our agents up for failure, and I don't believe it has to be that way.
Right.
So no, that's awesome. Katie, I want to be respectful of your time. I always like to end with, this one question. If you could give advice, and obviously you give agents advice, all the time, but if you give advice that you wish that you had, either starting out, at the beginning of your career, or maybe it's, building a team, or anything, real estate related.
Mm-hmm.
What would that piece of advice be?
I think the biggest thing would be don't give up, because you don't know what's around the corner. You have to keep working at it. And no matter how many agents I talk to and what they are doing, you have to go out and make relationships. You cannot sit at your house and just do social media and think you're going to do great. You have to make those connections and those relationships, whether it's talking to people at the grocery store or joining a book club or, going to your kids' sports events. Brand yourself, wear the real estate agent shirt, put it on your car, put it on your bag. Just go out there and remember you are a brand. This is a business. You are building a business from scratch. And, Starbucks wasn't built in a day. So that's what it is. You have to look long-term and not get frustrated at what's happening in the day, the week, the year. Again, I sucked the first 3 years. Let's be honest. I should have quit, 3 different times and I didn't. So I think just don't give up and keep watching those people that are successful and making your own. People want you to be different. So figure out what it is that makes you unique and then go with it, run with that, and just, hang in there. You can do it. If I can do it, anyone can definitely do it. So I think that's the most important thing. Just don't give up. You can do it.
No, I love that. And Katie, I think you should definitely share your story more. There's I don't have kids. I don't know how people with kids get into real estate. I don't know how you guys manage, to be honest, but I'm like, man, I can't even keep track of my own schedule. Throw in like kids sport here and there. And but a lot of, moms get into the business. Someone asked me yesterday who's going through classes, what do you think? And I don't even know the stats, but I was like, real estate's pretty female, dominated, and there's a lot of top teams and top agents that are female led. And I think it's so important for you to, share your story and show that it's possible. And like I said, I don't even know how you guys navigate it with.
Well,
with
listen,
kids,
we have 5 over here, and you should see my calendar. There's a code with everything. But you just like everyone else, you use it to your advantage too. I mean, you find your niche, and my niche is probably moms. And, the majority of the time when you're selling a house, usually the female is picking out a house. So I use it to my advantage. And there's other moms sitting at the soccer field. I'm going to get to know you, and I'm going to host the soccer party, and I'm going to sponsor the team and show up, and it's awesome. I get to be there for my kids, but guess what? I'm networking and I'm still working, even though it looks like I'm just sitting there watching soccer. So yeah, I think it's great for everyone.
No, that's spot on. And I tell agents that are getting into the business, what do you enjoy doing?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're a mom and have kids, go and join the mom groups,
Yeah.
on Facebook, social media, go and do those types of activities, go to, the playground and just mingle. Um, Grant Cardone always talks about, he always jokes that he wakes up. I don't know if he actually jokes this, but he probably does say this every day, but he always says he wakes up and says, who's got my money?
Yeah.
And I always tell agents, the mindset, real estate's, it's hard, but it's pretty simple, right? When you actually break it down, it's pretty simple. And it's, wake up every single day and ask yourself, who do I need to connect with today
Exactly.
to talk to about real estate that I haven't connected with yet? And then who do I need to connect with today that I've already spoken to about real estate? Who do I need to follow up with again?
Right. And that's join all the groups, go face to face. Like you said, join the Facebook groups. I know, even so, we just built our house a year ago. And my husband actually owns an insurance company. So he decided to start a Facebook group just from our neighborhood. And I got 2 to 3 clients just from starting a Facebook group in a new neighborhood. It was word of mouth. They had other houses to sell or they knew someone. So it's just reach as much people as you can authentically, I think, is the most important. Just getting your name out there, and just people want to see you. They want to see you face to face, see what you're like in person. And I think if you're just kind and listen to them, and those are the people they want to hire. They want to see that you're a real person. I think people like knowing that you're a real person and you do real things.
Yeah. So, and I love what you said. You said, Starbucks wasn't built, in one day. Yeah. And as someone getting into the business, it's, are you in this for quick money, or are you in this to actually have a career?
Right.
Those are two different things, right? And I talk about it. So then don't worry about the first month. Don't worry, like you said, stay focused.
And I think
it'll take care of itself.
Yeah. And I think that is where we probably lose a lot of agents. I know I have new agents that come in and they're either working another job and trying to start real estate, or just like you said, they're thinking, okay, well, I'm going to sell my first house. I started today. I'm going to sell my first house. In 30 days, I'm going to get a paycheck. But how many people did that really happen for?
Right.
So you got to look at it. And I wish they pushed that more in real estate school. Obviously I haven't been in 12 years, so I don't know that they do, but push more. Hey, this is a long-term, you are building a business. Look at it as you're starting your own business. So I think that's huge.
No, I agree. Katie, thanks so much for coming on. Those that are, that have been watching, please connect with Katie, on Facebook. It's the Antry Isaacs Team at Saxton Real Estate. So go find them on Facebook. But Katie, for those that, may be connected with your story, that, maybe want to, reach out to you from a real estate agent standpoint, or, maybe, they just loved you and want to use you as their realtor to help them buy or sell, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Yeah, so Facebook is awesome. We also post our events on there. And then we have our website, which is the Antry Isaacs Team at Saxton Real Estate, or they could call me at 614-306-8712. So.
Awesome. Katie, thank you so much for joining me today. And, if I can ever do anything for you to help you out, please let me know.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Awesome. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Sounds good.
See ya.
See ya.